Hello, this is Idodmg and welcome back to the channel. In this Fractured MMO video, I want to talk to you about this new upcoming sandbox MMORPG that is currently in alpha. They're currently in Alpha 2, Test 2, and I want to talk to you about this game and what it has to offer. Before we go ahead and jump in, I want to do a disclaimer that I did receive a copy of the game for free from the developers to create content for the game, so I appreciate the opportunity. And if you're looking for jumping into the game and picking up a pack for yourself to join the adventures, I do have an affiliate link that you can check out down below, as well as a promo code Idodmg that you can use at checkout to get a 10% off on your order. Now let's go ahead and talk about Fractured, what the game has to offer, if it's something that I think should be on your radar, if it's a game you should jump in right now and go ahead and play today, or maybe just wait a little bit for further development to come on the game. Fractured has been on my radar for a few years now, and I've been waiting for the right time to invest time into the game. And I'm glad that I finally decided to make that leap. There is a lot that I want to talk about in this video, and I will have the timestamps down below for each topic if there's something specific that you're looking for. If you have any other questions that maybe I don't cover or you missed in the video, feel free to leave a comment or join us over on the Discord. The DMGCREW would love to have you be a part of the community there. So what is Fractured? Fractured is a sandbox MMO with PvP, city building. You can build your own house, you can buy your own plot, you can own your own area of land. There's crafting, character progression, skills to unlock, knowledge. There's a lot here, and my number one favorite aspect of Fractured is the world. The exploration that is available in this world is just incredible. As I mentioned, there is PvP in Fractured, however, when you make your first character, and everything that I talk about, of course, is the current alpha phase of development, so things will change. But the way they have it set up right now is when you make your very first character, you are protected from PvP until you've played 40 hours or gained 80,000 knowledge points, which takes quite a bit of time. And I like this because you get to explore the world and learn about how the world really works before you get in and you get ganked or PK'd or anything like that. The world itself has so many different areas that you can explore. And the first thing I want to talk about with the world is the cities and how cities really play a part in this game. If you open up the map, you see each city that has a shield that is the color orange is a city that is claimed. There is a real life person is the governor of that city. They also have 4 vice governors and at least 15 residents or citizens of that city as well. Now, if you see the gray shields, those are unclaimed cities that you could go claim if you wanted to. In order to claim a city, you do have to have 20 players. You have to have 1 governor, 4 vice governors, and then 15 other people that are ready to become citizens with you to be able to claim that city. I think this would be a really awesome thing to do with you, the DMGCREW. So if anyone is playing the game or is thinking about picking it up and you want to be a part of finding our first city and claiming our first city, I'd love to have you. But what's important to know about being a governor and owning a city is it comes with quite a few perks. So I want to talk about the cities from the perspective of just an average player like myself. I can go to any city that I want to, and if it's claimed, I can go into the town hall, the city hall, and I can see who the governor is, and if they've put their information on their board of how to contact that governor. You can apply to become a citizen of that city, and you can see a list of all the residents and all that fun stuff. And becoming a citizen will allow you to access different parts of the city that you couldn't otherwise access. One downside of this is the city that I'm currently building in, the governor I think he's pretty inactive on the game. I applied about 4 days ago for citizenship and have not been accepted yet. So it kind of is this awkward thing in that regard. But what you can do if you are the governor of a city is you can make buildings and like the crafting tables open to the public if you want to. And there's no downside of doing that, so I don't know why every city just doesn't do that. But anyway, that's a different topic for a different day. So when you come to a city, as I mentioned, you can see the city hall, you can apply to become a citizen. And another option you have to interact with each city in the world is you can buy a plot. Keep in mind, you can only have 1 plot per account. Your very first plot that you buy is going to cost you 2,000 gold. When you very first start the game, and I did this, I pretty much soloed my first 5-6 hours of the game. It took me about that long to gather 2,000 gold to be able to buy my first plot. Later on in the game, gold really becomes a non-issue and is pretty easy to obtain. But buying your first plot is pretty exciting, as it makes you then a resident of that city, which if the governor set up permissions for you and for residents, then you can get those perks as well. When you claim a plot within a city, you can then put down and build a house. You actually literally build it piece by piece. I had to carry stone and logs to this house. I had to craft a wagon to be able to haul these resources and materials across the land to be able to build up my house. It was really exciting. It didn't take a lot of time, but it was just really exciting to have my own slice of the world, my own place to call home. On top of that, on your plot, you can also build crafting tables, chests, things like that. If you've ever played like Ultima Online, Albion, or Legends of Aria, or any games like that, you'll feel right at home with this game, and it all makes sense to you. The other thing that's cool is when you own a plot of land, you can give people permissions to use the items on that specific plot. So there's quite a bit here in terms of the world and the cities, becoming a citizen and becoming a resident. The last little bit of world that I want to talk about here is the PvE zones and how this ties into exploration. Exploration in this game is huge. The map itself is absolutely massive, and I think to walk from one tip of the world to the other end of the world would take you a few hours. Now, keep in mind, currently in the alpha, there's only one map that I know of. When the game does release and comes out into a full launch state, they are planning to have 3 different planets with 3 different continents each, so a total of 9 continents. They also have plans to have each zone have different rule sets when it comes to PvP. They're going to have one that is more on the PvE side of things, and there'll be less PvP action there. They have one on the opposite end of the spectrum that's totally lawless, no rules. You can go around, kill, and commit all the crimes that you want. And then they'll have one in the middle that is neutral. And I believe that is the continent that we're currently playing on, called Myr. M-Y-R. That's the name of the current continent in the alpha that we've been playing on. That one does have a jail, a bounty hunting system, and things like that. But while you're out exploring and you first open up your map, you can see the cities that I talked about. You can also see there's different hubs to go out and explore. Each of these yellow question marks that you see on the map indicate a combat hotspot. I've noticed that each of these yellow question marks shows a boss that you can go out and fight, or I don't know what they're actually called in the game, but to me they're kind of like mini bosses that you can go and encounter. For example, over on Goblin Hill, there was 5 different question marks to explore. 2 of those were the shaman that I could farm, and then 3 were war chief spawns. But what's really cool is about each of these combat hot spots, once you go there, there's not only just those bosses, there's also mobs around the area as well. And whenever you encounter a creature, the more you kill it and the more knowledge you gain from that creature, you can unlock its abilities. So, for example, that goblin shaman, I was fighting him and I noticed he had this really awesome fire totem ability. And I thought to myself, I want to be able to use that ability for myself and cast that. I killed it enough times that I actually did learn the fire totem ability. And I just love this approach to unlocking skills and having a knowledge base instead of just leveling up. But we'll talk about more of the knowledge and character progress a little bit later in the video. For now, I want to stick to the exploration, and there's so much more to it. You also have gathering and figuring out what you need to craft. The game just ties together into this really nice package. On top of your cities and PvE combat hotspots, you also have gathering areas as well. They're indicated on the map, so you know which ore is where, and you can go get all that. But what's really cool is they also have these world bosses. They're called legendary bosses, and the way they work, they're marked with these red icons across the map. I've seen 3 different difficulties of these. There's easy, medium, and hard. The harder difficulty, obviously, the more of a challenge, but the better the loot. But in order to summon these bosses, you have to go to that altar and sacrifice a set amount of materials to then summon in the encounter. You have to wait about 10 minutes fighting off mobs, and then once the 10 minutes is up, the actual boss will spawn in. And these are actually going to be required to kill to gain your last bit of talent points. So there's really a lot here. And the way the world is, it's so massive that really you got to kind of plan if you want to go out and explore and get far away from your home. One final thing I'd like to point out about the world is I played for a while and I wondered if there was any sort of fast traveling in the game. I did come across harbors around the border of this continent that you can go to, and you can pay gold to go to another location on the continent using the harbor system. So there is some sort of fast travel system there. I haven't found a way to like just teleport back to my home if I want to. I have to actually do it all on foot, which is okay because that makes the game have more of a feeling of an actual world. So that is world exploration, cities, combat, PvE zones. I mentioned gathering briefly. If you've played an MMO like this, you're really gonna, a lot of it's just going to feel like you've seen it. It's just done so well, especially gaining those abilities and skills from creatures. I absolutely love how they have that set up within this game. Let's go ahead and talk about character progression. When you very first make your character, currently in the state of the game, you're going to be able to choose your background, which will decide your beginning stats. You can also go in and manually allocate your stats if you so wish. There is a preset option of a Arcanist or one that is a warrior type character. I went with the Arcanist because I like slinging spells and I like the range playstyle. I'm already thinking about making another alt that is a warrior so I can kind of experiment with both. But the way the game's set up is just because you choose a warrior doesn't mean you're locked into just melee abilities. You can unlock all the abilities on one character. You can also respec your attributes as well. And really, you can do a lot with your builds from what I can see. I think there's going to be a lot of different build varieties and options to hopefully fit your playstyle. Before I jump right into exactly how to increase your character's strength, I want to point out that there is a hunger system as well as an energy system within Fractured. You can see up in the top left corner of the screen next to the health and mana bar, there is a green circle that is split in half. The left side of that circle is your hunger meter, which the hunger meter does not deplete very quickly at all, and it's actually really, really easy to maintain. Almost makes me wonder why it's even part of the game, because it's literally just an afterthought to me. And then on the right side of that circle, you have your energy meter. When this fully depletes, you drain your stamina quicker when you're in combat. You can restore your energy by resting at a fire. You can make a fire out in the world, or you can rest at a city resting point, a tavern or a fire within the town. The fires are fine, but one thing that we should point out here when it comes to just resting in general is if you manage to get knocked down in combat, you don't die right away, but if you get knocked down, you have a 30-second timer you can wait to just come back to life. And if you do that method, a portion of your health will be blocked out, and you can see that in the purple part of the health bar. In order to clear that part and be able to get your entire health bar back, you do have to go to a city. Sitting at a fire out in the wilderness will not heal that. Now that we got the hunger and energy systems and mechanics out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about actually how to make your character stronger, because this is a huge part of RPGs, right? Fractured has no character levels. You're not going to be a level 10 mage or a level 10 warrior or whatever it is. There's no actual levels in this game. Instead of there being experience points, they use knowledge points. Every bit of knowledge that you gain from the world, you get points for. And I talked about this a little bit earlier when I was talking about killing creatures to learn their spells and abilities. So for me, what I've been doing is I come across a new PvE hotspot and I kill all the monsters in that area until I have gained all the knowledge that I can gain from those creatures. If you open up your book of knowledge, you can see what you know about each creature. And once you've gotten the knowledge meter up to 100%, you can no longer gain knowledge points from that creature. So you can't just infinitely farm one type of monster for a load of knowledge. Once you've learned everything there is to know about that monster, that's it. You can't gain any more knowledge. You can still get loot and everything. You just can't, quote, level up more off of that mob. Knowledge points are used for a couple different things in this game. You can use them to, once you've discovered an ability from monster from killing it enough, you can actually pay knowledge points to unlock that ability. And you can also use knowledge points to invest into talent points in your talent tree. The way this game is set up is you have presets, and as soon as you learn and unlock a new skill, you can't just equip it right then and there. And you can't swap out your abilities just out anywhere you want to. You have to be in the city, and you have to be resting in order to go in and memorize your presets. Now, your presets, your ability presets and your talent presets, they're two separate things. You can switch those out on the fly, but you can't actually memorize them and actually use them until you've rested at the fire. I absolutely love this system because it makes you plan ahead for your journey, and it just makes the game feel that much more like a world. In this video, I'm not going to go super depth on character builds and customization, but that's pretty much what you need to know for your skills and how to equip new abilities. When it comes to the talent tree, it's pretty cool. There's quite a bit here, a couple different paths you can go. I noticed more than half the tree is not currently implemented in the current alpha, but you can buy talent points in your talent tree. The first 10 talent points cost 2,500 knowledge points, which isn't too expensive. Once you get your 11, I'm going to guess 11 through 20. I don't know the exact parts. I haven't leveled up that high yet. But after that, they cost 3,000 knowledge points, which isn't too punishing. But the talent tree is huge and is probably one of the best ways to really boost up your character when you're first starting out. So that's pretty much character progress. Another way to increase your character's strength is through crafting. Now, I wanted to note this at the beginning of the video, and I'm just going to go ahead and mention it here with crafting. Is the crafting is pretty in depth, and it can be a little bit time consuming with finding your materials and crafting the things that you want. There is PvP in Fractured, and if you die, it is a full loot system. So just keep that in mind. You know, I spent about 20 minutes trying to enchant my gear the other day, and I didn't die with it, but I was thinking, because I have the player protection on, but I was thinking if I got killed in PvP and lost all of that, oof, that'd be kind of a hard hit. But anyway, when it comes to crafting, you have quite a lot. I'm still relatively new to the game, but from what I can see, there's a lot to it. You can craft your cloth armor, leather armor, heavy armor, your weapons, your mage staves. You can even enchant all of the stuff in the game as well. The base crafting it's pretty straightforward if you've played any game like this at all. But the enchanting really kind of caught me by surprise. There's reagents that you can find out in the world that have different properties tied to them with different ranges of tiers on these properties. And I don't want to go into it super in depth here, but the enchanting system is it is a lot more in depth than I really thought it would be. And I hope that they improve the quality of life with the enchanting UI, because as it is right now, I just find it to be a little bit cluttered, messy, and just time consuming for no reason when it really could be condensed and just a little bit more straightforward. But there's quite a bit there when it gets to crafting. And one thing I noticed is there's no crafting levels. Like, you don't level up your enchanting or your blacksmithing or gathering skills. You don't level them up. You just go, you can do them all. I don't know if later on in game development you're going to have like dedicated crafting abilities and crafting skills to level up. I certainly hope so, but currently in the alpha, that's not a thing. You can craft everything from the get-go. Just a couple closing thoughts here on Fractured, and if I think it's worth your time and money to jump in right now, or if I think you should wait. With Fractured currently being an alpha, we know that this alpha test will not last forever. We know that the end is coming soon. We don't have a definitive date of when the alpha will be over, but we know that it's probably within a week or two, if I had to guess. I'm hoping that they extend the alpha because they have yet to test sieges. So in order to buy access to the game right now, you do need to spend $55 US in order to buy the master package of the game. If you wanted to wait until the game was in beta, you could pay about half that price and pick up the beta package. But as it is right now, it really is, for me personally, I was craving an MMO, and this one has really, it's what I was looking for, honestly. I'm not huge into the PvP games, and I'm hoping that, I don't have to PvP if I don't want to. But I've enjoyed it. I've been playing a lot with the DMGCREW. Shout out to Cajun Ken, 10 Squid, and Diz. We've had a couple journeys here and there, and I'm definitely looking forward to more. We are building up our own little plot areas. We're already talking about building up a city. We just need to find more players that are willing to join the damage crew and build up a city from there. This game, I feel like, has so much to offer. I've played about 20 hours in the game, and I feel as though I've barely scratched the surface of Fractured. I feel like there is so much more to explore and do, and I can't wait to go play the game. Like, I've actually been having dreams about the game, like that. It's that immersive of a world. So at the end of the day, the choice is ultimately yours. You now know what the game does have to offer, and you should be able to decide if that's something that you want to invest your time and money into. If you buy into the game this early on, just know that you are supporting a early game that's very early in development, and things can change. But you can jump in and check out the game now and probably spend easily 100 hours on the game if you wanted to. I hope that this video was insightful for you and hopefully gave you the knowledge and information that you need to know about Fractured MMO in the early stages of the Alpha 2, Test 2, and I can't wait for what else is to come for the game, honestly. If you do decide to pick up the game, please consider using the affiliate link down below, and don't forget about that promo code Idodmg to use at checkout for a 10% discount on your order. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell to get notified when I post new videos and also when I go live. Please feel free to check out our social media links down below for more. We have a small but growing Discord community, and we are trying to get a Fractured community growing over there as well. Feel free to check out our Twitter as well as our Twitch. And I do stream primarily here on the YouTube channel on Fridays and Saturdays. Occasionally I'll do some streams during the week as well. Don't forget, your view means the absolute world. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.